everybody, it's Ann and I'm Seeking Wellness, and today I want to talk to you about a new hurdle that I have just come across on my carnivore journey. To replay, I have been carnivore now for 6 weeks. I have been doing intermittent fasting and keto for 8 weeks. And wow, this week I hit a snafu. The last time I came on 2 times ago, I was talking about how I was so sick and tired and I wish I would have just taken my time and eased into doing it. Well, I finally got through that tired hump, and bam, right after that came a huge histamine challenge. Now, I'm going to have to do a whole nother video on histamine, but there are a million videos out there on this, and I am doing a deep dive into learning what's going on. I've always been a very highly allergic person, like very highly. And the last few years, I've been having these episodes mostly when I'm traveling or I go out to dinner or something, I would have these episodes after eating that I assumed was MSG, but kind of looked a little bit differently. And I would get very, very, very ill from something. And my heart would start racing really, really fast. My blood pressure would go up. I'd break into a sweat. I'd get nausea. I'd get a headache. And I really thought I was going to die. Quite a few times I've come home from trips sick as a dog, thinking this is the enemy, I'm having the big one. And I have never been able to figure out what it was. So I talked to my doctor about it, and she said, well, we could put a heart monitor on you. But that wasn't really the answer, because what I found out the answer is that it was histamine poisoning. Meaning, if you think about an antihistamine, Benadryl, anti-allergic reaction, the EpiPen for severe allergic reactions, you put adrenaline in your body. If you have a lot of histamine in your body, think of it like a sink, and the sink has a drain and there's something pouring water into the sink. Now, if the drain is clogged, the sink is going to fill up and overflow. If the drain is just a little trickle and you put the spout on a lot, it's still going to overflow. There's all kinds of things that can happen. So if my drain is basically part of it's my genetic system, it's possible I'm not producing enough DAO, which could basically be a problem since I've been highly allergic to everything that ever existed. Or it's possible that I'm not producing enough of a certain enzyme in my liver. Those 2 things are going to help keep histamine under control. Now, histamine is very important. It actually gets those foreign invaders in your system. And excuse me, this is not a medical. This is a layperson's clumsy attempt to explain this to you. It's really important for your system, but if you get too much histamine in your system, you're going to have a problem. So DAO is produced in your gut. That is one of the things that breaks down the histamine in your foods and in your gut. There is another term, it's like something. It's 4 letters. It's produced in your liver. That also is going to help break up histamine in your system. When the histamine gets out of control in your gut, say it gets into your bloodstream, you're going to have a complete histamine reaction. What's that going to be like? It's going to be different for everybody. It could be as severe as anaphylaxis, or it could be something like runny nose, your ears start to clog up, you get this tickle between your ear and your throat, which is basically a swelling in your ear canal, and you get itchy, you might get hives, you might get all scratchy all over your body, you might get the runs, you might get a flush, and you just feel like you're just whoosh. Just get flushed immediately and have to run to the bathroom and feel really sick, and then you'll get tachycardia where your heart is just pounding in your body. Boom, 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 boom. Now, I have had this often in recent years, and it sent me to the hospital. It sent me to, it sent me basically everywhere. I believe that that's the kind of response I had after I had one of my shots, and it sent me to the hospital with tachycardia. And it's scary. It is really scary, and it can be life-threatening. I had no idea what it was. So this week, I've been eating my meat, and I have been having more and more allergic reactions. And of course, I told you guys a couple days ago about how I made homemade ice cream with this heavy cream. And immediately when I ate the heavy cream, my energy level just dropped immediately. And I started having a whole bunch of runny nose and, terrible allergic reactions that the response has been so awful. And that just continued. The next day I went out and I thought, okay, I am having some kind of histamine response. Someone said bison was good for that, so I went and bought bison. I cooked it up. I ate 2 bites and immediately I got flushed. My ear canal got all full of, swollen, and I rushed to the bathroom with the runs immediately, which of course then made me think, what if I do have alpha-gal, which is a tick bite from the Lone Star tick, which could cause mammal allergies, because of course I'm eating all mammal meat, and what if I have a mammal allergy? So I have that scheduled for Monday. And however, I'm starting to not think that's what it is. I really think that what this is a histamine buildup in my system. So I started learning about it, and I'm doing a few things right now as Band-Aids to help myself while I heal. One is not something I recommend, except it is something I recommend if you're like almost ready to have such a serious allergy attack. It could cause a problem. I'm just taking some allergy relief medication. I've had to, because I haven't been able to breathe. I've had so much discharge everywhere. It's activating my asthma. It's causing just huge problems. Also, I didn't want to eat and end up in some kind of swollen throat condition where I have to go to the hospital, or I don't have an EpiPen and, my throat closes up. So I have been taking Benadryl for the last little while. I'm trying not to take it too much. But that's kind of calming down some of my allergy symptoms just for now. It's not a permanent solution. It is a temporary solution. And we know that if you do this, I think it's like 5 or 6 days, then you're going to have a backlash and you're going to have worse. So you don't want to do this very long, but this is what I did initially just to keep myself out of the hospital. Then I started learning about things. One thing that if my body does not produce enough DAO for whatever reason, it could be a nutritional issue right now, definitely could be a genetic issue in my case because allergies run in my family. But you can actually take something like DAO when you eat that will break down some of that histamine in your food so that you don't react so much. This again is not a long-term solution. This is a short-term solution, but the fear that I had with having such bad allergy attacks to my food caused me to get this. Now this is very expensive, but it does work. I listened to some guy named Ben Lynch on YouTube that talked about if you take just 1 DAO tablet on an empty stomach, and if it clears everything up immediately, then you know your DAO problem exists in your gut. So there are a lot of reasons this could be happening to me right now. It could be that my microbiome is still kind of messed up from switching over to carnivore. So there could be some other things in there that are causing a histamine response that are going to have to work their way out of my system. It could be that I am lacking some vitamins. I did take myself off of my multivitamins this last week. And it's possible that I am lacking maybe some copper, some chromium, some B vitamins that would be necessary for me to produce some of that DOA to be able to balance the histamine response. It could be that I have SIBO, which is an infection in my small intestine, or could be a result of leaky gut, which is basically your teeny little enzymes in your small intestine. And when you get leaky gut from eating things like gluten and other standard American diet, that foreign particles can get into your bloodstream, thereby causing a histamine response and an allergic reaction. So there are a lot of reasons that this could happen. So carnivore, supposedly, should be able to fix leaky gut, and it should be able to fix my gut microbiome. It should start to adjust. And so maybe in a month or two, I might not have this problem anymore. Or there might be other things that I have to look deeper into, especially since I am known to have these problems. Now, I'm really glad that I'm doing this. You know, usually everyone's first impulse is, oh, you shouldn't do that diet. It's not good for you. But I'm finding that doing this strict elimination diet of the carnivore is turning up a lot of things in my immune system that I had no idea about. I have been battling with allergies for 63 years. I mean, I came out of the womb allergic. I am just an allergic child. From the age of 4 or 7, I was having allergy shots all the time. I am allergic to everything, everything. Dust, mold, grass, feathers, dogs, cats, la 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 la. It just goes on and on and on. And they did say that there could be a connection between chronic fatigue syndrome and being highly allergic. Now, the Epstein-Barr virus, which is very active in my body, which became a big problem when I got mono, and has never, it's called acute reoccurring mono. This is what I've basically had my whole 35 years. That Epstein-Barr virus can activate histamine and cause a lot of trouble. So the other day I talked about how my blood sugar adrenal roller coaster is playing into it. It's not always so simple. It's also the histamine issues, which probably I don't even have enough DAO in my system. Probably I was born with an inability to really make enough to deal with the allergens. So you add all that together and you get this perfect storm, but I never would have known it if I wasn't doing this carnivore diet. Now, right now I'm miserable. I am itching. I have that itch between my ear and my throat. I am I handle my dogs well, but right now I'm not handling my dogs. There is a remnant of a cat that we had that is causing some allergy issues for me. And then this is the big one. Histamines in your meats and in your foods. Now, there's a lot of histamines in different foods like alcohol, chocolate, other things that can really cause you to have trouble. And I think that when I went on all those trips, I was drinking alcohol. I think that I just had a histamine buildup, and that's why I had that histamine poisoning. Now, I haven't been drinking alcohol or eating chocolate or doing a lot of the things that cause histamine. However, meat actually contains something called histidine. Histidine can very easily go into histamine if it is aged, if it is not packed quickly, if it is cooked in a real high speed way, like grilled or fried, that can cause your histidine meat to have more of a histamine property to it, which is going to overload your histamines in your body. Now, since I've been eating so much meat, and I do it on the grill, and I have not been careful. I've been getting meat from the grocery store or from the BJ's or wherever I'm going. My meat, I don't know how much my meat has been aged. A lot of meat places age your beef for taste. Some people leave it aging in the refrigerator because they believe it gives you this oaky, nice taste. If you go to a restaurant, you're more apt to get older beef with this oaky taste so that it tastes really good. So the best thing to do is to get farm fresh beef. Hopefully they kill it and pack it and right away put it in the freezer as soon as they've packaged it. And then when you get it, you're not going to have as much histamine on it. So I took a trip to the farmer's market, bought a bunch of lamb because lamb is not aged. Lamb, when it's cooked too long or it's aged, it gets gamey. It doesn't have that fresh taste. So lamb probably has a lesser amount of histamine than other meats will. So I am eating farm fresh, farm-raised lamb. Last night I had a couple lamb chops. I had it with my HisDAO and I didn't have a problem. Later, I had egg yolks, not egg whites with the yolks, because egg whites can cause a histamine response. So I just did the egg yolks with my Histio. I had a semi-problem. So I'm just telling you guys this right now, not to make you discouraged, but if you all of a sudden have an increase in allergy attacks, that's just what I'll call them, allergy attacks, or you're having some very strange symptoms, it could be a histamine issue, especially if you are someone who is prone to be highly allergic. Again, it'll probably be your basic allergy responses in different ways. But if you suddenly have an allergy response to something you eat on the carnivore diet, it might not be alpha-gal. It could be, but it might not be. It might mean that you need to get your foods from a local farmer, and don't save leftovers. Like, just eat the food you're going to eat. Once you make it a leftover, put it in the fridge, it is going to start gathering histamine. So you're not going to be able to eat leftovers. You're going to have to cook fresh every time. You're going to have to take it out of the freezer and put it, however you're going to cook it, and eat it right away. That's going to be one of the ways to help it. But if you do need help, there are DAOs. I bought this on Amazon. It was $59. It was not cheap at all. There are 60 tablets here. You take a tablet with your meal or right before your meal, and it does work. Like, this was worth it for me. And then to see that this is definitely a gut histamine problem was invaluable to me. So that's my little scoop for today. This is just kind of an emergency video, just because I wanted you guys to know if you get this problem. Now, I do want to say, I was just at the health food store. One of the things they say that helps you with histamine problems are vitamin C. I've taken myself off all my tablets and pills because they're so problematic. And I probably have, well, I haven't been getting any vitamin C right now, but vitamin C also helps with the histamine problem. So I actually got the ascorbic acid that I can put into my morning enzyme drink, electrolyte drink. So that's what I'm doing, just adding a little bit of vitamin C also to my diet. Now, the interesting thing is that I walked into the health food store. There was one guy behind the counter. The owner of the store, his wife owns it and runs it. And then there was another guy in there, and he was talking about how he's been doing carnivore and he's just doing so great. And all these things have happened to him, and this has been so great. And I guess that the owners are starting to do carnivore. They're very wisely easing their way into it so they don't cause a microbiome issue like I did do. And so I thought it was really interesting because everybody was getting really geeked up on the carnivore diet. I think this is funny because people see it as a fad. Some people have been doing this for years and they're doing really great and they swear by it. It is not a one size fits all thing though. I'm finding this because this man was just like, I don't do electrolytes and I just drink a whole lot of water and I haven't needed the electrolytes. Don't do them. I have needed the electrolytes. And so, there are some people that have done carnivore and have to go back to a little bit of something. And I think that we're all in a process of trying to figure out what works for our body and what gives us the best health. So they were saying that they are going to move toward that as, to see what it's like. And that's really kind of what I've been doing too. So right now, what am I at? 6.5 weeks of doing carnivore? Yeah, so in 6.5 weeks, I already have a histamine problem. This is just like really weird. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Let me know how you're doing in the comments. I really want to hear from you. I don't like to be on here and just be like, it's not the me show. I want to kind of take you through this and show you how I'm doing this. And you can watch and learn from all my mistakes and from whatever crops up for me and what I'm deciding to do about it. So, sometime along the line, you might all of a sudden get this issue and then you'll want to refer to this video. But there are a lot of good videos out there that tell you really what's going on. The thing is, it's very complex. And they attribute it to stress. and they attribute it to the food, and they attribute it to different vitamins and minerals you're missing in your body, and they attribute it to gut health, and they attribute it to different genetic predispositions, and then, or it could be medication that's causing it, or a virus that's causing it. In my case, the EBV, except that I probably have a genetic predisposition too, which probably is why when I got Epstein-Barr virus, I couldn't get over it because I already had that DAO limitation in my system, and that might be why I've been caught in this perfect cytokine storm. You know, it's probably exactly where I am. And then you put the blood sugar into it and you've got this whole mess. So in the case of my chronic fatigue syndrome, I think it's like different threads you have to pull and different things you have to treat. And I think a really good functional doctor can do a lot of that. But a lot of times, because every single person is different, you're throwing different things at it. You know, it's like you're throwing spaghetti against the wall and you're seeing what sticks. And that's kind of what we're doing right now as we're trying to lose weight and on our different ways of eating. It's definitely worth it. My daughter, now it's been 2.5 weeks. She's still doing it. I mean, this is like, she's really stuck to it. She hasn't lost enough weight to satisfy her, but I think she's losing inches. And I think that once she gets a little more energy and we can go to the gym, that might help her, you know, build some muscle and get rid of some fat. So yeah, we're trying everything. What are you guys trying? Have you guys had any of these problems? Have you have a histamine problem? And if so, what did you do? Because this is like really hard. Let me know in the comments. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.